So I'm driving yet, oh, Christina, hi,
Hi,
you're here.
it's me.
So I'm driving yet another Infinity model this morning, which I'm having a while with, my car's.
Doesn't have the R. Russell on it though.
The what?
She's got the Christian hat on. She's.
Oh,
I
well,
have
I
a
worked
black
until
Michael
2.
Kors.
It's not legit. It's not Russell.
Yeah.
Don't expensive.
You're not legit, right?
All right. All right, so we're gonna do a flyer mastermind, much similar to what we did last Friday, which I think will be great. We have a guest, Leslie Schackelberg, we're gonna sell it, is in the back of the room. She is a real estate agent in Solon. She works
Yeah.
for Keller Williams, Greater Cleveland Southeast, that's right. So, and she's also my downline and a
Southeast.
longtime friend of
Where's
mine.
Southeast?
Solon.
Solon.
So, okay, so she's kind of gonna be our little guest for today, so we're gonna throw her right into the mix. So, okay, so buyer mastermind, so these are the topics that we're gonna cover today. List now, how to handle somebody that wants to put in a lowball offer, ROC interpretation, removal of contingency interpretation, because these are the challenges that you get, and somebody that's going to rent or buy. So what I'll do is I'll touch on every one of these little subjects, and then we will go right into our role play. So, list now. So list now we talked about earlier in the week, when somebody says, I want to wait till the spring to list, and of course you want to very quickly kind of handle those objections. I don't know if you're paying attention to the market, because by the way, it is your job to know exactly what's happening with interest rates, but they are currently going up. Who knew that?
Oh, I heard that the
I
Fed.
know Brendan did.
I heard that the Fed didn't do an increase this time.
Yeah, but it's forthcoming. Yeah, it's
But it's
forthcoming.
coming, then it's coming next
I
week.
checked again like 2 days ago. Have they made a change since then, or is it, because I know that they said there was gonna be 5 within the next 2 years. One
Correct.
has happened, is the second.
So my understanding is when they froze it, that somebody stepped in and went, we need to revisit.
Oh, okay.
And that it
Makes
may
sense.
actually, but regardless, it's not going down, it's going up.
Right.
So unless it's staying the same or going down, there is absolutely no benefit to waiting whatsoever. Agreed? So you know how that works, everybody has a phone, right? Let's do this real quick. Okay, so take and put in your phone $100,000. Calculator, yes. Okay? Divided by, I'm sorry, times 3, let's do 3%, times 3%. So that figure should come up at $3,000, correct?
Correct.
Divide that by 360, which is the term of a 30-year loan,
Okay. $8.33.
$8.33, okay? So let's do the exact same scenario and take it up to 4%. So $100,000, it's gonna be $4,000, so divide that by 360, and what is the difference in that payment?
A little over $3.
How much?
280?
$2.80.
280, okay. So when you think about it, you go, well, what's the big deal? It really isn't so much, right?
Yeah, that's,
Okay, that 280 is going to then be factored into the price of the house, which your insurance is gonna go up. That's also gonna be taxed, so your taxes are gonna go up, right? And that's just taking it up to 4%. It's at 4% now, right? Okay, so let's take that same figure and make it 5%. So you're gonna take $5,000 and you're gonna divide it by 360. What's that difference?
It's not over 13, maybe almost $14.
Okay? See what I'm saying? So somebody that may have purchased their home at 3.5%, 3.75%, if it goes up to 5, they just price themselves out of what they can afford because their pre-approval is only allowing them X. So that is like 4th grade math. However, it's pertinent. And that 4th grade math took me exactly 2 minutes maybe to express and imply to you. So this is what you have to express and imply to that person that says that they don't want to move now. They want to wait. So that which also falls in line with what we talked about. Lowballing, ROC interpretation, and rent or buy, right? It's probably going to be most pertinent to rent or buy. Because, obviously your mortgage is going to be less than to rent. So what is the purpose in that? What's that interpretation? Why do people rent instead of buy? Because oftentimes rent is more, correct? So why is that? Yes?
Uncertainty, credit, I guess things that can all be repaired or sorted out within a short amount of time.
Sure.
In a lot of situations.
Sure, Christina?
That's kind of what I would do.
Yeah, okay, so it's responsibility. Responsibility. Like, I pay the rent, I don't have to do anything. Light bulb goes out,
Right.
you know, something has to be, you know, set up, fixed, whatever it is. Yeah, I can't talk to you now. You know, I can't do it. You know, somebody else has got to do it. Where, when you own a home, you're paying taxes, insurance, repairs, everything is, you're responsible for. If you don't shovel your driveway, if you don't cut your grass, like all that kind of thing. So that's, I think if you have a clear, big picture on why people do what they do, it'll be a lot easier for you to handle their objections moving forward. Make sense? Yes? Cool. Okay, questions about that? Nothing? All right, I'll wake you guys up. Okay, so let's do, I wrote this down, I should have said bye now. Let's do that first. All right, so I'm going to ask for volunteers, and otherwise I'm just going to assign you. So I'll throw it out there. So who wants to do the buy now? And 2 people. Perfect. Leslie and Christian, go. Leslie is the person that's on the fence on whether or not she wants to buy now, and Christian is going to be the one to handle her objections. Okay?
All right.
Ready? Can somebody keep time for me?
Yeah, I can.
I guess
2 minutes?
Okay.
Okay, so the reason why we're timing this is for time efficiency, first of all. Second of all, this is so that, you know what, when, you know how like the old people in the Midwest, when they used to do like a gunfight, they would like 10 paces and turn around and go, God! Whoever drew first, like, kill the other person. You've got to have this stuff ready to go. As soon as somebody goes, I think I want to wait till the string, you have to have it. You have to know exactly what to say. That's what this exercise is supposed to entail. Cool?
Cool.
Any questions?
No.
All right, let's do this. All right, go.
I think I'm gonna wait till the weather changes.
You're gonna wait till the weather changes.
Yes.
Why, may I ask?
Well, you know how Cleveland is. This week it's great, next week it's not. I think I'm just gonna wait. Plus I
Okay.
might have a couple vacations, I'm gonna head south.
Gotcha, that's awesome, that's awesome. So what would hold you buying, now, let's ask this question. If you found the house that fit all your criteria, would you buy it now?
I quite possibly would, but would there be any other way I could hold on to it and make a decision for possibly March when the weather breaks?
Well, I totally understand where you're coming from, because you have a crazy life, and I understand that, I totally understand that. Just know with us at Maine, with the Dream Team Keller Williams, we make everything very cohesive, so we take a lot off your plate, pretty much do everything other than the stuff that you have to be present for, or the items that we cannot take care of. Also, do you know what kind of market we're in right now, by any chance?
Not really, can you explain that a little
Yes,
bit more?
absolutely, so I'd love to. So we are in a seller's market, so that means, it's a good and a bad thing. So inventory is very low, so if you were a seller, it'd be a great time for you to sell right now. Buyers, yes, this time of year, there's not a lot of buyers out, so you don't have a lot of competition with buyers, but inventory is low. So if you want to sit, if you find the house and you want to sit and wait on it, most likely it's not going to be there in 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a week. So that's where the market is right now, so.
Is there a chance we can still find, because I feel like I'm not at my 100% yet on the house. Is there a chance we can find something where I can find a 100% house that I like?
So what would a 100% house look like to you?
I still need that bigger backyard. I want to make sure that it's still closer to the schools that I need. It's still not close enough to downtown, so I'm still not, I'm sorry, I'm being a hard person to tell.
You're not, because I'm going to bring it home right now.
Okay, great.
So that is awesome, yes, so what I would love to do, and if you would be open to it, so no one's wasting your time, because like you said, you're so busy and vacation. I would love to sit down and have a, consult with you, buyer consult for no charge to you.
Good, okay, so we'll stop right there, that's good, that's 2 minutes. Okay, so, okay, that's it, good job, well done. All right, so, your thoughts? What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
Oh, you feel good, you're nice and cool.
Yes.
I think it was good, I would just, with it being that it is a seller's market, it is also still a buyer's with the interest interest rates and all those sort of things. So
Right.
you're not so pigeonholing yourself, I suppose, to try and
Sure.
work your way out of it.
So what I would do is I would identify both sides of it to Brendan's point. You guys did a great job, thank you. I would identify with his point. So you're saying there's very low inventory. So what is the objection handler there? Jump now because what you're looking for isn't going to last very long. But then because inventory is low, there isn't a lot to pick from. However, the interest rates are low, so if you find it, you're winning. Now, doesn't everybody in the real estate world want a deal? Which that to me is a dirty word. But everybody wants a deal. Like, yeah, well, of course, everyone wants a deal. Like, but that's not the reality of the market. This is a market. You're not purchasing shoes. Like, it's a market. So, if you try to handle that objection and try to swim with the current and go, well, that to me sounds like a deal. If you move now, that to me sounds like, oh my gosh, you're the winner. Low interest rates, low inventory, you can move now, you don't have a lot to compete with, and you're gonna get the house that you want for a low price. That sounds like a deal to me, right? So this is kind of the things that you maybe wanna add into your arsenal. What else?
I think she kind of uncovered a couple things. One was that she didn't want to move right now. Well, okay. But then the other thing was I didn't find my 100% home. As
Sure.
Christian asked a couple more questions, and I went, well, I haven't found 100% home.
My thing was buyer's gonna try to lock her in for a
Right.
buyer consult.
So what's
Because-
gonna,
Yeah, so tell us where you're gonna carry
Well, my
it.
thing is, it's very true, and I know Amy swears by this, is buyer consults, and I do too. Because any clients of mine that I've done a buyer consult for at least 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, I see us finding their house in their next home in anywhere from, I'd say low end 4 homes to 10, the most I've shown is 10 homes. This is my last client. The only reason we saw 10 is because we double viewed 2 of them. So really we saw
So you
8.
went back.
Yeah, so we went 8, we did our second, so I'm very, I root that a lot for buyer consults and like, you know, asking questions, but like, yes, interest rates too, I saw my buyers locked in on their interest rate, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you
so
if you
let's
can.
ask 50 questions and see 5
5
homes
homes,
instead
exactly.
of 5 questions and see 50.
One,
Sure.
you can
Yeah.
say like absolute must-haves, 5.
Well, and so-
You
and-
can find a home for them so much faster
And
and
we're gonna-
easier.
And you
We're
go
still
back
gonna-
to that, which is your thing, not to interrupt you, is your needs and want paper, what were your needs, what
Yeah,
were
your
your
needs
wants?
and wants analysis, that's very.
And that just brings them back home.
So really, because we're gonna kind of touch on all of this stuff with any luck. So at this point, you guys did a great job with, don't wait, buy now. Like, get moving now. You know, so, also don't forget to lay your foundation early. You know, like, I don't know if I wanna buy or if I wanna rent. Find out what their, softly find out what their financial situation, resource situation is. You know, like, have you had somebody, you know, get you pre-approved, you know, to see where your buying power, because and I always locked it up half full, not half empty.
Well, yeah, I tell people too, is you might be surprised if they're like, oh no, I gotta rent for at least 6 more months or a year or whatever.
They're scared.
You might be surprised, you might be pleasantly surprised of what you can do. Why don't you make the phone call and find out it's worth the phone call?
And it
It's not
won't,
gonna hurt you.
and it won't cost you a thing except a little bit of time and peace of mind.
Right.
I would be horrified if I showed you homes that were in what you thought were your price range, only to find out that you could actually afford something nicer and more and secure your investment, because that does happen. Would that be worth it to you to make that phone call to see exactly where you sit? Yes.
Just a little tidbit, which I find out last week too, especially when your buyers are calling the lender, even if they're not ready to buy or something, I always make it as a positive, like, you are going to find out where you stand, where you're gonna find out your whole pretty much financial blueprint for buying a house, and you can totally change it around in 4 to 6 months easily, if that's something you really wanna do, you know?
It gives you a clear trajectory, so if there is an obstruction that's beyond our control, that you cannot actually move forward with this currently, at least we'll know exactly what the pathway is to get you to that place where you can purchase, and hopefully at that point, you know, interest rates will still be desirable. Let's see what we can do. And that should be part of your consult. Yes, my dear.
What would you say the percentage or the likelihood of somebody just not wanting to buy? Like, what if somebody just has no interest in it? Like, I mean, how would you turn somebody like that around? I mean, That's just,
That's real life.
yeah.
We have a friend that has rented perpetually as long as we've known him, and it's been almost 28 years, and does not have
He will
any
not.
interest in purchasing real estate at all.
Some people don't.
Some people don't, and
At
then, you know
all.
what, you help them find a rental and you get paid right away.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say that.
I mean, you've got to uncover
Even-
every last shell and objection, but also like, you know, take a look at their history. If they've got good credit, decent credit, and they're renting, and they've been in the same place for 20 years, and they have no interest in leaving, real estate's not their thing. That's a very small percentage of the population that's just like, you know, I'm gonna do mutual funds, and I wanna travel, and, you know, they're gonna carry me out of here in a box anyway. I'll always have a mortgage. I'll never pay a house off. I don't want the responsibility. And you can like hammer those objections, but if you keep getting no, that's where you as a real estate agent and a person have to identify with, this is not a person that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. They just don't. But it's rare. So you don't wanna go, oh, they don't wanna buy. No, you've gotta be absolutely positively sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next topic. So, now let's go, this is probably one of my favorites. You know, I'm gonna skip over that one and we're gonna go back to it. Let's do ROC interpretation. Yes,
I'll do it.
you'll do it?
Yes, I'm it. Who
Oh,
wants to do it with me?
all right,
I will, because I don't know.
Christina.
So what do you mean ROC interpretation?
Yeah, I'm saving the other one for you.
That was the big one, okay.
I'm saving that for you.
What do you
Okay.
mean? So,
All right, so this is, so ROC interpretation. So Christina is a first-time home buyer.
okay.
Mommy and daddy are coming to the inspection.
Oh,
Okay, wait, let me just shoot myself in the head now.
God, that's amazing.
So,
Eye roll.
just kidding. So, anyways, yeah, great. So they're coming to the inspection, they were there through the whole thing, and now the ROC comes back, and there is a laundry list of things that they want fixed, which include.
I hate
which
parents.
I hate parents.
gotta
I hate
remove-
my parents, so I didn't bring them to my home buying.
I didn't do it either. I bought the house and said, look
I love my
at
mom. I love my mom.
so stay on topic. So now she's in a panic.
Okay.
The inspector that they hired was a friend. So, yeah, no
Oh.
kidding. Yeah, this is.
Killing me.
They all
this is
went
real
off the
life.
reservation?
Hey, if
Killing me.
it's on, it's on.
Okay.
All right, let's
Okay.
Went
go.
off the
So
reservation.
Christina,
Okay.
I know that we had the general home inspection about 2 days ago, and we got the ROC back, we got the inspections, I should say we got the inspection report back. So what are your concerns, what's going on right now? Fill me in a little bit.
Well, my mom and dad told me that, this might not be the right home for me.
Okay, now, now to clarify on this, I wanna make sure that I have all the information right. Now, are your mom and dad on the mortgage too as well? Or is
No,
it
they're
just you?
not.
It's just you?
Yes,
It's just you, that's
just-
awesome, so you're buying the house all by yourself, that is awesome, that's such an accomplishment, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So my thing is, so the inspection, general home inspection, we're always looking for health structure or safety issues. Cosmetic issues or anything that aren't big ticket items, we like to look at it as how your home ticks and you learn, because you've rented, I assume, have you rented prior to this? So the beautiful thing about it is, so renting, you don't really have to fix anything, but now with buying, you're gonna have you're gonna make all this equity in this house, you're gonna, you're gonna have a place, you're gonna be able to do everything you wanna do, paint the colors, change stuff. With that comes a little bit more responsibility, and then this report, I like to look at it as it shows how your house ticks and works. So there's gonna be some maintenance that you're gonna have to do throughout the year and all that. So what I really wanna do is I wanna dive into the big ticket items, like health, structure, safety, to make sure that this house is good for you to move into, which at this point, that general home inspection, I don't see anything majorly right now. But let's go through the inspection. What items were your parents ticketing out that were such a big deal?
I mean, they just feel like, maybe it's not so much health structure or safety, but
Okay.
they do feel that there's some things that need to be repaired.
So
on
things that-
the aesthetic.
The aesthetic, okay, so we gotta understand, so when was this, do you know when that house was built?
I don't.
So it was built in like 1962, so it's a seasoned home, absolutely, it's not a new build, so it's got a lot of character into it, and that's one of the things you like in the house, correct, the character?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely, so my thing is, let's take a step aside and let's look at it and really see what you would be comfortable with, and let's go through and view each item and what are the issues with it and why your parents feel the issues are. Because at this point, I feel this home is a really great home for you, and what do you feel it is?
I mean, I like it, I really,
Like it?
I could see myself here, I just, you know.
Absolutely, okay, so now my question is, if we wouldn't go through with this, and we go to bed, and then the next day someone would else buy it out from you, how would you feel?
I'd be bummed.
You'd be bummed? Okay, so I think we really need to sit down and really look through things and see what is an issue and what's not an issue. Because maybe your parents are just probably very concerned with you, for you and your well-being, and I understand that completely. But that's why I'm here, and we're gonna go through and we're gonna help, I'm gonna help you any way I can.
Perfect. Good, and you probably are right on time. Okay, good. So, good job, guys, thank you. So what do you think about that? What are your thoughts about that?
We went back to a motion.
Yeah.
How'd
So,
that happen?
because fortunately, Mommy and Daddy were not there with her while they were having their consult. Good job, by the way. He immediately was like, okay, let's calm down. He did very softly touch who's buying the house. That's always important, because you want to capitalize on that.
I like that he didn't like rub that in, oh, are your
Yes.
parents gonna be on the mortgage, just like as a general question, not.
So how would you let me make you think outside the box here for a second. How would you get past the parental thing?
How would I,
Okay, while you're pondering that, first house I sold, in the basement, in Solon, in a house, mom, dad, brother-in-law, sister, girlfriend at the time, and the person buying the house are all in the basement. There was a full-blown family meltdown, which included stomping, crying, yelling, people cowering in a corner. No, I'm not kidding, this is real life. Like literally, my contact person was in the corner like, I'm not getting anywhere near that. There was a father that said, these linoleum stairs are gonna cost $10,000 to replace.
Wow.
There was a mom that was saying, I just don't like the way it feels in here. I just don't like how it feels. It just doesn't feel
Let me
right.
get you some sage, you'll feel better after I
Yeah,
sage it.
like it was, and then now realize the future husband is buying the house and who is now the fiance, they're not married. There's white appliances in the kitchen. It's like, we're gonna live in here like homeless people because the appliances are not stainless steel. Oh my God.
She seriously said that?
Are they my neighbors? Please don't tell me they're my neighbors.
Okay, no. So this is real life. And so everybody stomped out, screamed, yelled, cried. The best part of the story is the little guy that's buying the house with all the money,
I love
who's
it.
standing in the corner going, I don't care what they do, I'm buying the house. I don't care.
I
Like,
love
this
that.
does not matter to me
Oh, well, then.
at all. So that's where I carried myself to your point, who's buying the house?
Right.
So I went right over to him. You good? See what you're marrying into? Are you cool with this? Like, he's like, Mark, I'm cool with it, just let him do it. It's not a big deal. I was like, okay. So I hung back there. And they turned and looked at me and I was like, I think you guys have plenty of dialogue going and you don't need my input at this point. I'm happy to answer questions. Facilitator, not decision maker.
Yeah.
All day long. Okay, so how would you get past the parental thing? I'll let you ponder it for a second.
I
I,
teed that up right off the bat.
uh-huh. I
Well,
mean,
you went with emotion, why wouldn't you go right to emotion?
well, I've done it before the inspection.
Buyer
Um,
consult or.
but-
No parents at the inspection.
No parents at the
No one else
inspection.
other than the people buying the house because.
Why?
Because the inspector, with everything that's going on, that is an intense moment for you as a first-time home buyer, and for the inspector to touch on all the points to give you how the house works and what issues are. The home buyers are the only people that should be there. I am going to be, even me, your realtor, is going to be off in the corner, letting the inspector do his thing, because his job is to inform you about everything on this house.
Okay, so let's clear it up.
We can't have any distractions.
So what do you do for a living? I'm a nail technician. Great. How would you feel if you were doing nails and somebody was standing over you like this, looking at everything that you're doing all day? How would you feel about that?
Oh, I love that, I gotta remember that.
That'd be rough, wouldn't it?
I gotta remember that.
So, an inspector is not going to do the job that you're paying him to do if he's distracted. Furthermore, if he misses something, that could cause problems for you in the future. So the less distraction, the better, so that he can perform his job the best way that he knows how. This is why we don't have kids or other people in a house, with the exception of the agent, the person or people buying the home, and the inspector. That's it. How would you like to open your house and just have some random people running through your house? Oh, shut it down. Shut it down from the beginning. Now what I was trying to go to was, It's a parent's obligation to protect their child. I understand why they're looking after this transaction, because they want the best for you. But at some point, we have to be mature enough to make our own decisions. So if you're comfortable with that, I would like to help you with that. Now that shuts it down. You're not discrediting the parents, because nobody wants to hear people talk shit about the parents. Nobody.
Right.
But at the same time, it's an obstruction. It's a huge obstruction, right, Marty? Well, where's Dave? That's really the person in charge.
I had
thinking
both
that
sides.
too.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, but regardless, I mean, we can kid and laugh and moan and groan about it, but this is real life. This is going to constantly show up. All right, so let's go on to the next thing.
It happens on the flip side too with older adults and their children.
Yes,
I got to miss that inspection, so.
yeah, exactly. So make sure you're there. Okay, so let's go to lowball. You're up.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, Brendan. You been up yet? Everybody else has except Jessica.
Lowball.
I keep her in my back pocket. She's the best one.
Okay, good morning.
All
What are we
right,
buying?
so he wants to purchase a $150,000 home,
Okay.
and he wants to offer $120,000
Okay.
with $3,000 in seller concessions.
So he's really offering 117.
$117,000 out of $150,000. Right?
Where's this house at?
On the street.
Westlake,
What's like? Okay.
go.
So I found this house, you know, they're asking 150 for it. I'd really like to come in under that at 120,
Ooh. Okay.
and 3,000 in seller concessions. How do you feel about that?
What gets you to that number? I mean, I know, clearly the lender says you need the seller concessions, I get that.
Yeah.
So ultimately, you know you're only offering 117,000 instead of 120. So tell me how you got that number. What makes you think that that's a good number for that house?
It needs a lot of work. You know, the roof is about 15 years old at this point, so in the future, you know, I'm seeing all these expenses adding up, and I really don't know if I'm ready to take all those on at asking price.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You know, roofs now last for about 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
There we go.
And you know, your inspector is gonna tell you, you know, kind of age of the roof and how much life it has left. They're really good at that. So it may be more than what you're thinking. And you know what? Let me run some comps here real quick. Let me pull up some information also on something called Trend Graphics. So, all right, so we've got a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath in Westlake. That's what you're looking at. Square footage, 1,800 square feet. Okay, so I'm putting all this into Trend Graphics, and here's what Trend Graphics is telling me that they're selling at. They're at 98% of asking price. You're way below 98% of asking price.
Yeah, I see that.
My guess is, and really at, 50 days on the market, this house has only been on the market 25.
Do
See
you
what
know
I'm
if
saying?
Do you see other offers coming in? I mean, is this something that if I go low, they'll counter and we can kind of meet in the middle?
This is a pretty low offer. Going that low, I'm guessing they may actually,
Okay.
am I done?
All right, good, okay, good. All right, great. That's why we timed it. I knew you were gonna carry it further. Okay, perfect. Your thoughts? Your thoughts. What do you think?
Great, she had great, like, she was
Quick.
she's quick on the ball with it.
Great, perfect, love quick. Okay, what else?
I like the wow. I
Hmm?
like the big red one. It's like, oh, one to wow.
Mhm.
Where'd you come up with that?
Because wow is not committal, it's just a reaction. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, let's back up a little bit, because some of that dialogue you would have already had in place because you're all professionals, correct? Say yes, yes. Okay, so you would have had him pre-approved. So you would have known going into a $150,000 house that he could afford a $150,000 house.
Right.
You also can also capitalize on, remember there's going to be an inspection that is going to uncover the things that are speculative, which is the roof, the electricity, the moisture in the basement, all that kind of thing. So you want to zero in on that so they don't feel like they're signing it in blood and they're going to be stuck with it. Because you want to work through the process. Because there is that outside possibility, stay in curiosity, never be so sure of yourself you couldn't be wrong. What if the roof is about to, it's on its last leg And now it's a $5,000 roof where you can actually have the seller pay for it or reduce the price, which I always recommend the first over the second. Let them do the work. Don't constantly default to, we'll just lower the price, because they'll lower the price, they get their house, and now all of a sudden the person doesn't get to it because they're all excited about buying new furniture and putting their new car in the driveway. Like, let them do the work. Those phone calls to you will be less and less and less. Questions about that?
No, I absolutely agree.
Okay, so, also, you've got to have your stuff together when you're looking at the house to see if it's priced properly. When they're walking around, looking around, if somehow life got in the way, you just didn't get to it, well, they're walking around the house looking at it, pull up your little phone and see if this is priced accurately. So that when they come back and go, I want to do this low ball offer, you know what? Wow. You know, let's take a better look at it. You know what, go ahead and take a look around and see what you think. And, you know, in the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit more homework right here myself. That's working together, okay?
Well, and I was telling the guys in Ignite yesterday, go preview homes, because you're not out there showing homes yet. Go preview them. You can set that up on CSS. Because the more homes you actually walk through and look at, you're gonna get better ideas of what homes are worth and if they're priced properly. Go in the MLS and look up sold homes that have sold in the last couple of months.
That's your best.
And take a look at what they were priced at and what they sold at, and go through the pictures. I mean, you know, sometimes pictures aren't the best, but at the same time, it'll give you an idea of if things are overpriced, if they're perfectly priced. It's gonna help you learn the market.
Solds, for you guys that are newer, solds are going to be your best tool. Because you'll see exactly what is selling, because that is your direct comparable, because it's sold.
Right.
So now you're actually, and there's still that opportunity to go online and still see the pictures, because they drop the pictures off when? Remember?
I don't remember.
45 days.
Is it 45?
Then just the frontage. All the photos, unless it since has changed, so don't quote me, but I believe it's 45 days after it sells, that the pictures stay up. All the pictures stay up, so that everybody can see, look, it's a promotional for the agent, and it should be a
Right.
promotional for you, like.
I love that Trend Graphics website, like, that's just.
It's
That was
fantastic.
so, I was like,
And you know
I
what,
was like,
Christina,
I
keep
was like
using
a
it
kid in a
because
candy store, just
I would
like
say
playing with it the other
3/4 of
day.
the agents in this office will not touch it. And if you want data, if you have a client that's like, I want data, done.
I've attached it to all of like these,
It's
you know,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the greatest tools that we provide you with by being here, because they don't provide you, believe me, I've been doing recruit appointments all over the place. Just a little side note, your splits, your company, your resources, like, yeah, I didn't realize how deficient other companies are until these people from Caldwell and Berkshire and Howard Hanna come in, and they serve me their circumstances, and it's just astounding. So sometimes you don't know what's going outside of the confines of your own business, but it's a good thing to know what's going on out there, because it gives you some perspective. So there it is. I gave it to you. Okay? All right, good. Anything else? Any other thoughts about what you did? No? Nothing at all? Nothing that could have been improved upon, touched upon, any of that? So I like what Christian and Leslie did, or Christian and Christina. So if you throw in a lowball offer and somebody comes in and buys it out from under you, how would you feel?
I love that. I
Okay.
use that on pretty much.
So for, and we did some math, right? So for an additional $5,000, so let's do it. Grab your phones.
$5,000 is $25 a month.
$25 a month on 360,
If,
Mhm.
if,
30-year mortgage.
from what NLC tells me, for every 1,000, it's $5.
Right, okay, so that's a buyer's agent that knows their numbers. Okay,
So
So that's what-
literally, it's an expensive pizza.
okay.
Or
So-
Starbucks.
And
Or-
better than
yeah.
that, is that $5,000 that's factored over 360 months, which is 30 years, is that client, what is the chances or the trajectory of that person staying in that house for 30 years?
it's not likely.
So you take that $5 and you add it to 7 to 10 years liberally,
Right.
so that's really, in the end, that's what's coming out of their pocket, which is less than a cheap used car. Now, if we're gonna put this in clear perspective, would it be worth it for you to let this house go for that amount of money? You see what I mean? Like, you have to be constantly like triggering thought when it comes to lowball offers,
You have
whether
to
it,
trigger emotion,
yes,
more so than thought, because
though.
the emotion is gonna make them act on it.
Mhm.
How bad do you want this house? This house has every single one of your 5 absolute have-to-haves in a house.
Yes,
In a home, I'm sorry.
so and how do you leverage that? How do you
Uh,
leverage that?
What do you mean?
How do you, what you just said, how do you leverage that?
Oh, I play it out, if they're,
Pull out your list.
yep, pull out the list.
And go, you provided me with this information. I mean, obviously, this will be a lot softer in the delivery, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But you provided me with, this is what you must have, would like to have, could live with, and live without. So how does this fall into the criteria? Because now you're covering both. I love the fact that you go to emotion, because quite honestly, I probably don't go there first, and I should,
Oh, I always go to emotion first.
because you have to know your audience. But if you do that, you gave me the information, I'm working off of what your wants and needs analysis is, how does this fit into this criteria? That's something tangible. And they should be driving around with that, so that when you go from showing 1 to showing 2, okay, the 2 of you, see how that works. If it's a person that's by themselves, then maybe entertain taking them with you. Not that I highly recommend it, but
At a buyer's consult, make a copy of that.
Yep.
You give them a copy, you keep a copy.
And then you come together and go, so, let's go through it. How would you rate the kitchen? 1 to 5. How would you rate the living room? How would you rate the lot? How would you rate the neighborhood? How would you rate the curb appeal? How would you rate the basement? Because I know
Yeah,
that's
sometimes you don't
important
even
too.
have to do that, they walk in, they're like, ooh, yeah, no, I'm
I
not
had
getting
that.
it.
Yeah.
When they walked in the door.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even gonna look. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right, great.
Done.
All right, so I want to do one last thing.
Bring it back.
Marty, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, we got through the, how do you show a house? You open the door, you know, you undo the lockbox, you open the door. How do you show a house? I want to know.
Wow. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Now,
funny.
before you, now, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus.
Well-
I'm gonna come back into the
It
friction.
depends on,
Keep
it
going
depends on the
here.
house. I mean, yesterday I'm showing,
Right. So-
what?
So if you are showing a house, no, you look good. So if you're showing a house, right, like you walk in, what do?
I usually pop my shoes off if it's in the house.
Okay, what else?
If it's not a condemned house.
Yeah, exactly, if it's not a condemned house, in which I have giant, giant boots.
Okay, so let's,
for
okay, we'll
rodents.
take that
But
out.
okay, so
Like,
it's
let's-
a nice enough house.
It's a normal.
Normal-
I walked
normal
barefoot on
house.
West 44th.
Normal house,
Right.
I would take my shoes off and maybe ask the clients to as well.
Chances are there's gonna be a sign there that says, please remove shoes.
Exactly.
Right,
most
okay.
likely.
Okay, what else?
Well, and then they say, welcome, you know, this is what we're looking at, this is the address, this is, you know, where we talked about looking. Here's, you know, here, then just kind of remind them, this is the one on the, like, if we're looking at 3 houses, this is the one, this is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Just kind of go over the
Okay?
little bits
So-
and pieces,
So
but
this
also.
is gonna be kind of like an interview. So, if you're showing 3 houses, do you show the best one first or the best one last?
I go best one, I'd go best one first.
Best one
Depending on-
first?
Yeah.
What about you guys? Best one first, best one last?
I've done it both ways.
It kind of depends on the
So we gotta
client.
commit to one.
I guess it kind of depends on the client, but I guess the best one first, I would think, is I want all that in their head, and then you go to the next one, and then you go to the next one. Well, this one has this, but unlike the first one, this one doesn't have
Okay,
this and this.
so, so let's take a poll. So you're gonna say best one first? What would you do?
I honestly was thinking distance.
The what?
Distance, like
Di-
between the
Just distance?
houses. Yeah, like furthest in or, you
Oh,
know.
okay, so like there's a
closest.
criteria.
Yeah.
But you would base that on where do you start? Because you're showing the
Oh,
one they like the
probably the
least first,
Yeah.
and the best one last, then that's where you start your trajectory,
that's
or vice
almost-
versa.
That's
Okay.
almost like the wedding photographer plan, though. You kind of go, okay, here's your standard package.
Mhm.
This is nice, this one gets this much. This is, and then the second house is gonna get, well, this is gonna get you these features
Sure.
on top of it.
Mhm.
Then number 3, it's like, well, it's only, you only buy in one house, right?
Right.
How long, this is your home. How long are you gonna be here?
Sure.
Now, that might be the most expensive too,
So
but the
that's your-
nicest,
so that
then
is your
that's
method,
that's your
right.
nice feature.
So what is it? Commit. Best house first or best house last?
I switched around then, I'm sorry. Best house last,
Best house last?
going last.
I'm saying last.
You going best house last? What
Best
would
house
you do?
last.
I do best house first.
Best house first, Christian?
I like to do best house first.
What would you do, Zach?
If I recall, it's best house first.
Okay, don't say anything else. Best house
First.
first? First?
It's first.
First, okay. So who said first? Why?
I have that sheet, the sheet at first,
Mhm.
what they checked, and I have that behind the picture and all the stats that they want.
Mhm.
And if it is distance, great. But I do it so they see it, and usually honest to God, 9.5% of the time when we walk into the second house, they go, third house, no, I'm done,
Okay.
let's go back. And usually I call to see if we can go back to the first house, we're done, and we're actually writing a contract.
Sure. So, I always did best house last. Always. Because you get them excited, you get to see something. Just for a little bit more, you get this. And for just a little bit more than that, wow, look at how much better this is than that. And you're thinking, leave them with that image of that nice house, last, so that they're gonna write on the one that they like the best, right?
My client said close right before Thanksgiving, that's exactly how I did it.
So I'm sitting in front of many of the people that you're seeing sitting pictured over there. Wrong. All the way wrong.
Oh, yeah, they want best house first.
Never, ever the best house last, ever. Ever. Always the best house first. Because you want everything to be a direct comparison to that. That keeps that first house top of mind, and they keep going back to it, and oftentimes you'll cut your showings short, and you'll find yourself writing it off on the first one, yes.
But I think also the way that we have been wired too, and this, I'm going back to figure skating, because we work together also as figure skating instructors. We know how to read our client or our skater, so if we know how our client works, we can kind of cut that shortcut and get to that point quicker. So your way, yes, I can see that avenue, but if we know how to read our client or our customer as we're coming into it, then we can kind of cut that. I like that. I like that way a lot.
So advantages of, go ahead, sweetie.
I'm sorry. So as buyer's agents, do you recommend that your client go in with maybe a notebook? And,
Absolutely.
okay, so this is our first house. Write
With-
down what you liked,
With
you
your
know?
needs and wants analysis attached to
I have a
it.
sheet
Yeah,
printed out.
and then take that to each house.
Yeah,
Because I feel like
absolutely.
some of these houses are, that bathroom got lost in the shuffle, or that kitchen, or that
Yes,
finished
sure.
basement,
I just love the methodology of if you go, like Leslie was saying, first house, and then
Best
go
house
back to the
first.
first house after
Yeah.
you see the third. You could also, depending on the client reading that person, go get to that third house and go, this has everything you want. Let's pull out let's write an offer, you
Right,
know?
what were you gonna say?
Okay, so this, I did not come up with. This I learned from a seasoned agent, seasoned. What she would do is, they would go on showings, and after they do, so they were looking at their 6 to whatever houses, they have the printouts, she would do double with each printout, and when they were done with the showing, they get in their car, she would take them with them, of course, but she would be like, okay, so what's your top contender, what's your second contender, what's your third contender? And they would keep them, and then they'd only have their top 2 at all times. So what she would make them do after they got their top 2, and they went view more houses, the houses that they didn't fit, she would make them physically crumple up the MLS
Yes,
and
it's
throw in
just-
the back of the car.
It's a cerebral thing.
Yes,
I love it.
and I love it too, and I've used it.
Do you know when we bought our house and so on? That's exactly what the agent made us do.
I love it.
It's
Yeah.
best practices. It
I
truly
kid
is.
you not, because they were like, "You're gonna throw it in your car." I'm like, yeah, throw it in the back of the car. Like,
So also too, for efficiency purposes, so if you're showing the best one first, and they start to go, okay, so we're gonna go down 20,000, and then the next one's gonna go down 10,000, and the last one is gonna be probably comparable to the one at the bottom. Like if you start to see yourself going that direction where they're like, oh God, oh no, no way, change the trajectory and go back to, this is why I asked you to send me your top pick first. As sure as I stand here in a brown jacket, they're gonna send you a list of 25 houses that they wanna see on a Saturday. Pick your top 4. And if we don't find anything after the top 4, pick your next 4 that we'll schedule the next day. So why do you not do multiple showings?
Well,
Go ahead.
Gets lost in the shuffle.
Gets lost in the shuffle, thank you. It's a very simple answer. They'll all start to run together, and, you know, you may miss a great opportunity and the perfect home for you.
It's like
When
when
you're-
you're testing perfume or cologne.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's too
So, house
They
or home?
Frankenstein them together.
How-
They think that kitchen went with that bathroom, with that, and
It
they
all
were all
gets
three
put
different
together.
houses.
they do that.
Okay, so,
Totally.
house or home, I'm just gonna touch on a couple like
Home,
things.
home when you're buying,
Buying, house
house
when
when you're
you're selling.
selling.
Okay, very good. How do you set up your appointments?
I do hour-long showings, but I overlap 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yep,
Okay,
But
depending
you
on how
also
close.
have to know, you also have to know the client, like if they
Correct, it's,
really, like if they're fast, or if they like to look and look, then you have to know the people.
so my recommendation is, do it the way you like and whatever is deemed successful, because you are private contractors, so we're not looking for
Independent.
independent.
independent, slipped right out there. I recommend 30 minutes because you have to factor in travel time. And that gives you the opportunity, if there's a lag, to uncover more objections and get to know the client better, develop the relationship so that you can get the thing closed that afternoon. So if you've got a 10 o'clock to an 11 o'clock and they walk in and go, and it's 10 o'clock, and you're walking in, and they go, smells like cat pee, I'm not standing here. You come back out and you go,
Yeah,
okay, so you're standing on the front stoop going, okay, let's see like what I got, because your next appointment starts at 10:30. So if it's 5 or 10 minutes away, like how much time are you wasting? Not a whole lot. Furthermore, you have an hour to show the house, 30 minutes is more than enough, because I can always bring you back. You know what, I know that you love this is great, but we gotta stay on schedule, because we scheduled this, let's go look at the next place and then we'll assess. And if you do it the right way, with only 4, you may have that extra 15 or 20 minutes to go back to the first house before your time is up, and then you can close it. Make sense? When you walk into the house, last thing, I'm letting you go. When you go into a house, do you show the house or do you let the person walk through the house?
I let the person.
You let the person walk through, okay?
Depends. I'll follow some people and talk to them while they're looking, and then sometimes I'll just let them go.
So what about this? Say, generally when I'm showing homes, we always start in the basement because if there is going to be a problem, question, issue mechanically, that's where we begin. I am more than happy to walk you through the house first and then give you the opportunity to get better acquainted with it on your own. Or I can simply let you take a peek and go through it, and I'll hang out right here. And if you have any questions, I'll be here to answer you. What would you like me to do? Just ask. Just say, do you want me to show you the house or not? I will tell you almost 100% people are like, oh please, show me the house. Because I'm already letting them know that I'm going to give them that opportunity to look at it on their own, and I always duck out. Plus you have that opportunity to share a little bit of your personality, a little bit of your expertise, a little bit of your enthusiasm, and it helps to develop your relationships, right? Come on, let's go in the basement so we know what's going on. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm looking for moisture in the ceiling, I'm not seeing anything, there's no smell. Look at the all the mechanicals, like, are they updated? Oh, they keep their stuff right here, everything's being, okay, everything looks good here. So now we can go look at the fun stuff.
I do that a lot more with first-time home buyers, because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And so, make sure it's not a Federal Pacific box.
Yeah, first thing, electrical
First
box.
thing.
My
So-
first thing is an
Always,
electrical box.
Always, make sure it's not a
So
Federal
when you're
Pacific
doing
box.
one showing, do you meet the client in the driveway? Or do you go into the house and open it up and turn all the lights on?
I
One
go in
show.
and turn on the lights.
I go in and turn all
So
on.
you get yourself
If they're
acquainted
not,
with
yeah,
it.
if it's not already, if the seller hasn't already done it, I go in and do it.
Yeah, so if you do that, then you can say, you can add that to your opening dialogue. You can say, I took the liberty, I like that word, took the liberty of walking through the house myself. It's a really, really nice place, just so that I was familiar. So if you want me to actually show it to you, I certainly can, because I am familiar. Or if you want to take a look around, and then if you have questions, however you'd like to do it, both ways are very, very beneficial. Now you're creating contribution dialogue, and they're starting to like you even more, and now they trust you, and now, like, Mark, whatever you want us to do, we'll just do it. Well, hello, isn't that the purpose?